All right, we are recording. Good day, everybody, and welcome to our. This is a very exciting day that we've got here. So this webinar is going to be about a really exciting technology, resin printing or SLA printing. And this is Patrick. I've got the expert here with me. Say good day.
Good day, everyone. Yeah, Patrick here. Nice to be here today.
And he's going to walk us through this technology. When you would use it with FDM, comparing it to FDM, why might you use it instead of FDM, and the advantages of using it as well, and like the workflow. It's a really awesome technology. I had a lot of misconceptions about resin printing in SLA, so yeah, I'm really keen to show you guys the technology, and even more kind of excitingly, like us here at 3D Printer Gear, we've just partnered with Formlabs, and we're going to be showing off their equipment, and it's honestly impressive what they've been able to make. So like I said, I've had a lot of misconceptions about resin and how smelly it is, or how much the safety's kind of around it, even what you can achieve, the actual finished product. I just didn't know how far the technology has come. It's come really quickly, and the guys at Formlabs, like, it was a no-brainer to partner with them and to use this technology, because once you see it, it's pretty impressive. So even if you're not looking at buying resin tech, the actual printers themselves, knowing what's out there and what you can use, because you can get 3D printing services to make these parts, is it's just going to add another tool onto your tool belt. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we're going to share these presentation slides. All right. I just wanted to check though, Gabs, can you see the slides now? Give us a yell out if you can. Yeah, awesome. All right. Cancel that. All right, let's go. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a very brief overview of resin printing or SLA printing, and specifically with Form 4's setup with the Form Wash and Form Cure. So what is resin printing? It uses a photopolymer resin instead of a thermoplastic like you're used to with your FDM printer. It prints by dipping its first layer into the resin, curing it with that UV, lifting it up, dipping it down, curing the next layer, doing that repeatedly to get the same results as an FDM, but with higher detail. And it's commonly used in prototyping, dental engineering. It's really good for those really high detailed organic shapes, and that's when you'd use it instead of FDM. So these are when you really need those surface details to show through. The accuracy of these machines are just absolutely insane. Like typically you guys would know that you're printing with a 0.4 nozzle with a 0.2 layer height. That's your standard. You can go down to a 0.12. These machines can go down to a 0.25. 0.0025. Sorry, that's how accurate they can get.
It's absolutely insane. I mean, you can't even see the layer lines on these models. We're going to show you some example parts. You can see here on the screen, of course, some example parts, and you just can't tell that they're printed. I mean, they just look injection molded, or even better, honestly. Like that green looks amazing.
So some of the advantages and limitations of using SLA is essentially, so we've talked about the high detail, the accuracy, the surface finishes. So then there's less post-processing like sanding and finishing off with a resin coat or painting, because you've already got that finished surface. It can do complex geometries and shapes that FDM just cannot get. Our other limitations is, yes, it can be a bit messy, but Formlabs does go a long way in eliminating any of this. The parts can be a little bit brittle, something that I have mistakenly forgotten myself. I've tried to put a heat insert into a resin print, but because they're not thermoplastics, it doesn't work.
They don't heat up and soften like a thermoplastic.
So you need to consider what you're doing, what post-processing you're going to need, and other ways of doing it. So you can actually set heat sinks into resin with resin and just cure them in instead of heating them in. Other limitations is because they're made with UV light, they are not UV stable. So if you're going to use these products outside, they do need other post-processing coating for protection if you're going to take them outside. And yes, you do need a wash and cure. With the Formlabs 4 setup, that does become a lot easier. They really have taken away all the limitations that I had when I first started resin printing, all the hurdles I hit having it set up in a garage with a ventilator and all that. Now we've got it set up behind us in our training room, which wouldn't be possible before.
I just thought when the guy said that we're going to put the Formlabs equipment here, I thought, oh, really? Like, can you do that? But like obviously, so you guys are used to with FDM printing, right? Is printing with one machine and then the part's done and it comes off. Now with this, obviously we're going to walk you through it. We've got the wash and the cure. So you got to cure the part as well to get the best properties. You might think, wow, that's so much more steps. We're going to show you how quick that it is and how easy it is. It's actually stupid easy.
So as we're using a different manufacturing technique, there are things that you need to consider when you're designing a product. Orientation really does matter with resin printing. Like when you're printing on your bamboo printers, you're often trying to get them as flat as possible. Here, we don't want any flat horizontal surfaces.
No flat surfaces.
We want them angled, and I'll go into a bit more detail as to why that is a little bit later. Every resin print will require supports. There's no eliminating that. So consider which side is going to be your feature side, where the supports can be, to limit the amount of post-processing, sanding, and whatnot you have to do. If you're doing large solid objects, you can hollow the part, but this does mean you need drainage ports in there. You can't print a sphere with a hollow in it, because you'll actually capture uncured resin inside that part, and you want to be able to flush that out and clear it out before giving it out as a product.
Right. So similar to FDM, you kind of have an option whether you want to make parts hollow or solid, or how thick the wall is and stuff like that. So we'll look at that as well.
And wall thickness is really critical with resin printing. Too thick of a wall and you'll start get warping. Too thin of a wall and it'll just be a failed print and won't come out. So we'll just start looking at the reason why we don't have flat surfaces, and it's called cupping. So essentially, if you have a large flat surface, it's sort of as the process of the printer is coming down, setting, and then lifting up. As it's lifting up, it can cause a bit of a vacuum in there. The larger and flatter that surface is, the more vacuum forces. This can cause prints to be pulled off the build plate, the actual film of the bottom of the tank to be ripped or deformed. And a failed print on a resin printer is a hassle. Like FDM, you just pick up your spaghetti, throw it in the bin. With resin printing, you've got to completely clear the tank of any debris, or else you're just going to get repeated failure after failure.
And I remember this being like a big reason that I didn't want to get into it, because I remember how much of a challenge it was.
So painful.
And one thing that really caught my eye when I'm looking through these Formlabs stuff is that the success rate for the prints are 98%.
98%.
So I guess they've pushed that boundary so high that you're barely ever going to have an issue.
And look, I'm sure, I don't know the facts, but I'm sure that 2% is probably user error, to be honest.
Usually is anyway, right? Yeah, no, totally.
So so the whole Formlabs process, we've talked about it. We've got the printer, we've got the wash, and we've got the cure. This whole ecosystem does make just resin printing just so much easier than it used to be. Other advantages of the Formlabs form is they've got the resin cartridges. So instead of having to pour and deal hands-on with resin, it's literally a tank. You crack the lid after you put it on, and it just uses gravity to keep that resin at a perfect level for your printing.
So you don't have to pour out the resin at all.
Don't have to pour it at all. Don't have to deal with it. And they've got removable tanks as well. So when it's sitting in that tank, after you've done printing, you can put a lid on it, put your resin away, put your tank away, no wash, no fuss.
So you just swap tanks.
Just swap tanks. New material, no washing, just store it for next time. So it does make life so much easier.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you're in a production environment and you want to print out of different materials, having to clean a tank and wash it out and pour it would be and you would have to put all your PPE on and everything. It would take some time, but just being able to swap the tank out.
Swap the tank, and with resin printing, you want to avoid any contact with the resin at all. And this system just makes that easy. You basically only have to wear gloves, sometimes a respirator and some glasses, and that's really all the PPE that you'll ever need.
Amazing.
Yeah. So here's just some of the resins that Formlabs offers. So the general purpose resins are very similar to the PLAs that we've been using on our bamboos and our enders. Very easy to use, good general purpose, good looking, quick to print. Other specialty ones are like precision for modeling, flame retardant. There's even mixed custom colors that you can get from Formlabs.
Wow.
And then they've got this amazing range of the Tough series. I think it's a Tough 500, Tough 1000, Tough 1500, all with unique properties for the purpose of your print, of your design. You can tailor it with these resins.
Really? So you can actually custom make the material for your specific.
Oh no, sorry. So you can custom make the colors, but these.
Gotcha.
So with the Tough range, you can get impact resistance or stress resistance, or a mixture of the two.
Gotcha.
So depending on the use of your product, you can get the right resin for what you're wanting out of your product. Another amazing one, I'll just show you these two. These are my two favorite. Is castable wax resin. So this is a very easy to use resin, high detailed. You can print out your jewelry or print out any model that you want, send it off to a caster, and they can actually cast it in any metal that you need. And you can have these high detailed products made with ease.
25 microns, less than a human hair is. Yeah, so
it is
you can
insane.
even see these layers. It's impressive. Wow.
And then on the complete other scale of that is the rigid 10K resin. So this resin can I think it's 238 degrees before deforming.
238 degrees.
So you can use it for injection molding. So if you want to move into mass production, you can design and print your own mold and then start injecting or thermal forming your products repeatedly.
What? I didn't. I actually. Is this a new addition to the
I believe it is. It's come out quite recently.
That is a game changer. I mean, if you're producing plastic parts, a lot of plastic parts, being able to print the tooling, this is the actual molds themselves. I mean, that like getting that tooling made initially is going to cost you more than the whole setup probably. So that setup pays itself off in one production run. Wow, that's impressive. 230.
I believe.
You can even use that for end use parts in high temperature environments too. So wow, amazing.
So and then how not to die. It's pretty simple. Wear your gloves when handling resin. These are carcinogenic. Avoid any form of skin contact with it. The IPA is very pungent. So
that's the isopropyl alcohol that's helped washes the
washes
resin.
So make sure you're doing this in a well ventilated area. And make sure you dispose of your resin correctly. A good tip that I was taught by Michael, one of our bosses here, is any of your uncured resins, you can just put them into a clear bucket of the IPA, leave it outside. The sun will set it and cure it, and then it's available to be thrown into general waste because you can't dispose of liquid resin.
Of course,
and then you can just filter out your IPA just by getting a paint filter from like Bunnings, pour it through, get all out the impurities and debris, and then you can reuse that IPA over and over again. So it limits that wastage quite significantly.
So the isopropyl alcohol that you wash it in, you don't have to dispose of it.
Don't have to dispose of it. You can keep using it and top it up with fresh to keep it at that higher percentage.
Gotcha.
Because we use 99%, and I wouldn't recommend using anything under 90.
Okay, great. Yeah, and then obviously the resin that you use, only the resin that you're printing with is being used, and everything else stays in the tank.
Yeah. So just your prints and your supports is what we have to deal with. Everything else is in the tank. And the fact that we don't have to tip the tank out, even those little bits that used to stick on your tank, you'd have to get them and cure them and get rid of them. Now we can just let it sit there until next time.
Amazing. Wow. That's awesome. Is that the last?
That is the last one. That's the old slide, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
We'll have a look at Preform, which is the slicing software.
Perfect.
So I'm sure you guys are all familiar with slicing software coming from FDM printing. And I'll just grab my model here. So this is really quite simple. You guys know your basic settings. You can scale, you can orientate. In here, we can set up our specific supports. We can lay out if we're doing multiple objects. But the real key of this software is the one-click function. So we're just going to go one click.
One click. There's
Set
no,
up your print.
There's no one-click function in my bamboo slice. So hang on a minute.
Orientation, and it's over here on the side here. It says print validation. This is the checks that are going to stop you from making user error. Right. It's going to check as long as these guys are green, you're going to have a successful print. So it's checking for what were the hangs that are coming down and not being supported correctly, and also making sure that the distance between the supports are strong enough to maintain that print. Right. And we've got 3 ticks and we're happy to go. And you can see down here, it's going to be almost a 50 mil print.
And the cost is
$7.30.
$7.30. Now, if you're going to print these with FDM, it's not going to be costing you $7.30.
No, but this is at a layer height of 0.025.
So totally different.
Yes.
Also, this part is completely solid right now, right?
It is completely solid. So the way that we can minimize that costing is we can just click on it, we can press hollow, and I'm just going to do a 1.5 mil thick wall. And we're going to hollow that out. It's going to do it automatically for us. And we're going to go back and do our one click again. It's going to adjust it for that chain. So it's coming up with an error already saying cut detected. That's the hollow inside. So that's what we're talking about, having a cavity inside. So what we're going to do, we're going to need drainage holes.
Right.
So first of all, I'm going to make my supports disappear so I can see my model. And obviously this is the underside. I'm just going to click on hole. There we go. And we don't need a 0.6. I'm going to go down to a 2 mil hole. So it's going to be, or maybe 2.5, so it has a nice flow. And I'm going to put 2 holes in it. The main reason I put 2 holes in it is to increase the flow when I flush it with IPA. So there's a drainage hole and also an input hole. Right. And it can help just get rid of all that uncured resin inside, and then also help get that IPA out after actually draining it all.
Gotcha.
So we'll just apply that.
So obviously, if we didn't have these holes, we're going to have liquid resin inside. That's why it's throwing an error.
Yeah.
And it's not even going to let you print it.
And
way.
It's causing that vacuum, that suction that you get.
It won't print properly.
That, just do that.
And what I love about this is like, so if I compare it to like FDM, you get like one warning if there's like support material needed, pretty much. That's it. This is like giving you everything, and like, has it even rotated it?
Even more so,
wow.
And then as you can see, we've reduced the volume down to 25. And the end product is exactly the same.
Yeah. Now, how long is this going to take?
So this is approximately 7 hours and 46 minutes. So that is a lengthy time for one print. But the benefit of resin printing is the time is how many layers you're printing. So we can fill this bed completely with these dinosaurs, and that time won't increase.
That will stay the same if I put like 10 of these
on the same build plate. It does it by layer. It doesn't matter how much of the resin you're curing. It just matters how many layers you're curing.
So long as it's the same height, literally the time, you could actually have just like a little axis on the side here that said, this is how long
pretty
to build
much
up to this height. Wow.
Yeah. And obviously, because we've gone to the finer detail, it's going to take longer. Gotcha. You guys all know that from FDM. And it really does help improve mass manufacturing these.
Right. So I guess this is the difference. Like now we have to think about not just producing parts, but the actual context that we're producing. Like obviously the performance of these parts is different. The use case is different. The cost is different. But if I'm going to be making 10,000 of these dinosaurs. If I'm going to be FDM printing that, it's going to be 10,000 times how long it takes to print one.
Yeah.
Whereas this is going to be, well, now all of a sudden I can, pretty much set it to print as many as possible on one bed.
Like obviously this,
get them all out.
Yeah, like you can modify this. You could even like de-optimize the print quality and lay it down further.
And that'll
it will decrease the size.
Gotcha.
But I tend to trust this freeform over my decision making.
So that one click is you're going to get pretty much what you need there.
You're going to get that 98% result. You're going to get it to work.
Right. And obviously, this is quite a decently long. So it's quite a big part. I mean, and if you're going to print it with your best settings on your FDM, you're probably going to be taking around that time. And the bit that blows my mind is that the fact that you could put 10 more on the bed, and you'll get the exact same amount of print time. That just boggles my mind.
Yeah,
amazing. All right, so what do we do now?
So in here, this is just where you select your printer. And then we just hit apply, and then we can send it straight to the printer. I believe our printer just finished with our last job.
The one that we made earlier.
Yeah.
So do you have to fiddle around with the settings here?
No, these are all automatic.
Wow.
And I didn't even select black V3. There's actually an RFID chip in the bottle, and it's automatically done all that for me.
No way.
Yeah.
So
and that's why I'm the expert, because I let the machine do the work.
Oh, there we go. All right. Well, now I feel like a bit of an expert with this now. So, okay, I think this will get us to let's go to the next step here. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen here, and I'm going to get my phone up. I'm going to pin this. Okay, I'll leave that. All right. Hopefully you guys can still hear us. I'm going to grab the phone here and I'm going to show you this machine in action. So it was just printing, and then now it's done. Now we printed a client's model off, and you can see, actually, first thing, before we even do anything, all of these machines, I'm just going to stand over here, it's sitting on just one little trestle table. I don't know, it's not even 1.5 meters across.
Yeah.
So I've got this whole setup just sitting on one tiny table. It's amazing. It's so small. So we've got 3 machines here, right? Printers on the left. Then we've got, what's this one here?
This is the form wash.
The form wash.
Yeah,
right.
So that's filled with 99% ISO, IPA.
Yep.
And then we've got the form cure,
Amazing.
which is the little oven here. So yeah, we'll take the build plate off and put it into our wash.
Fantastic.
These should only require about a 5-minute wash.
5 minutes?
So it all does depend on the design of your part, what resins you're using. But it's as simple as pulling up the lever, and then we can come over here and pop that into our wash tray, just on some armatures. And then you just set your time, set the speed, and press start.
Wow. And
this has a great two lid system. So a lid will pop up underneath it when it's open to prevent that IPA from evaporating over, and then have a solid lid closing when it's actually functioning. And then instead of being forgetful, walking away after it's been cleaned and leaving it soaking in IPA, it will automatically lift it up. So you can walk away after doing this, come back whenever you're ready, and your parts will be there.
Oh, that's an amazing, that's really good for workflow. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck waiting for it. I mean, 5 minutes isn't that long, but the fact that you can walk away and it'll come out and dry. So the fact that it lifts your part out and just lets it dry is really useful. Again, this really highlights Formlabs' kind of commitment to help that whole production environment, right? Like they're really thinking about, okay, if you're going to use this to produce parts, to have a business, what do you need? And geez, they've thought about everything. I mean, you saw how quickly it was for Pat to put it from the printer to the wash.
Definitely still wore my gloves, as you should.
Definitely.
But you could just grab the build plate. like at the top. You don't even have to go near the resin.
Yeah, you're not even close to touching it. And now that it's washing in that bath, after 5 minutes,
it should be all
we're going to cure it. Now, the curing probably takes a long time. Is that right?
Yeah, so with the curer, all the filament, I say filaments every time, sorry. All the resins are set in here. You go through and you select what resin you want curing, and it'll have the preset. So some might need preheating, some might need an actual temperature while curing, and some might need different times. This is the V5 Black, which has an incredible cure time of 1 minute.
1 minute? What?
No heat, nothing. Other resins will actually get quite hot during that curing process. So always be careful when you're removing something from the curer. Some of them can get quite warm.
1 minute? I don't understand. Hang on. So
it's like very well cured in the printing station.
That's insane.
Like, yeah.
So if we say we printed off like a smaller part, like obviously that dinosaur was like 7 hours or whatever it was, like high detail. But if we printed off a part that was like, say, not 15 centimeters on an angle, say it was only like 5-10 centimeters, like a highly intricate, detailed, small part, we could print it, say, in an hour, wash it in 5 minutes, cure it in a minute, and then we have our final part there and there in like an hour and a bit.
Yeah. At a
insane.
detail that I haven't seen before.
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive. Okay, while this is going, let's have a look at some test prints. So I'm really excited to show you guys some of these. Bring them over here. So here is an FDM dinosaur that we've got, right? Now it's the same one. Patrick's just gone and run over to find the resin print of this. But you can see all the layer lines. You can see the support's going to cause that issue on that underside. And sometimes, you know what? You just can't sell this part in certain applications because it's either not going to be strong enough, the quality's no good. And thank you, Pat. That was perfect. And look at this. Here's one that's fine, like off the resin, and you can just like the difference is insane. Absolutely insane. Like there's your FDM. Yuck.
Look, they do have their place.
Right.
Like if you're looking to prototype, FDM's probably a good bet. Quick, rapid prototyping where quality isn't your major concern. But when you do need that surface finish, that detailing, you choose your resin.
Yeah.
It's all about the outcome that you need for your product.
Yeah, and that quality is amazing. So the other part of it is obviously like how many you might need to make. So that's the other thing. Like, so you know, being able to print 10 of these with the same print time and 98% success rate with the quality that it has. I mean, yeah, you can't really get that on a $300 ender, can you? So here's another test print. Look at this. That's another resin print, Yoda. It's like slightly translucent, but you can see how much quality you get. I mean, you can't even see these layer lines. And here's one that I'm really excited about. So we've got a lot of car enthusiasts in the group. This part here is a car part that we scanned and then printed on the resin printer. And look at that. You get all the textures. That's straight off the scan. Isn't that insane?
Actually, just on textures, I didn't touch this earlier, but in Preform, you can apply textures directly onto your prints.
Hang on, in the slicing software?
The slicing software.
What?
So you can get a bump map they've got their presets on Preform, or you can download your own or make your own and apply that to your parts.
Right.
And the detailing that you can get, you can control how far it bumps, the density of the textures. So you can really get some pretty awesome results. I've done a few unique die sets, some D20 die for tabletop using resin printing.
Gotcha.
And just by adding different textures completely changes the feel of the die.
Because texture and the way that this part interacts with light, even the way that it feels, it totally changes the way that you interact with this part. So surface finish I mean, you know, industrial design is a whole degree you could do
Yeah.
effectively on this kind of stuff, right? So being able to play with that, it's just something that you can't really do with FDM. There obviously there's some textures that you can apply in certain directions and orientations, but you need the high accuracy, you know, to get this. This is another car part or clip. Actually, I'm not sure what this is for a buckle. Maybe you guys can tell me what it is. But look how smooth that wall is. It just boggles my mind. Oh, and there we go. As we're talking, just lifted it out of there, and it's just allowing that part to dry. Now, the part that we've got in there is a different one to the dyno, but that isopropyl now is just locked off. There's another
dual lid.
Yeah, there's another lid. It's a really clever design because otherwise it would just evaporate, I guess. And then so now it's fully clean, right?
Clean, yeah. So we'll have to double check it and make sure we've gotten all the nooks and crannies. But essentially, we can come over to our quick. We slide that on there to hold our build plate.
Oh, perfect.
And then wearing glasses, of course. Quick release.
Did that just bend the plate?
Yeah, so it's same as your FDM printers. It's got the flexible plate.
Wow.
Really easy to use. And it just makes life so much easier.
See how quick that was? This is what we're talking about. Like the production nature of this is just insane. Like, because they've just thought of everything. Even you don't even have to bend the build plate yourself.
Yeah. So we've got to make sure we get all that resin off. Sometimes with the density of the support structure, you might need to get in there and flush it a little bit more. These are supplied with the machine, so is this, and it can be really handy to get in there and make sure you get all that out. And then basically, we've just got to let all that ISO dry up before we cure. So we can just let that evaporate, but we can remove the supports prior to curing.
That might make it better, right? Like
if you
can, like
it does depend on what your design is and what resin you're using. And that should pop up all in one go. And then, so we might just give that another rinse where that support was. Get all that uncured resin off.
And look at this support, right? I thought that was going to take you way longer to.
There's I'm not very good at it, but there's like a squeeze and twist technique,
right? And
it just pops off.
That came off literally in one go. And I actually heard the pop. Like, I don't know if that came through on the video, but I heard like a little took, and then it just. This looks like an injection molded part.
I think. Not sure if we can go into too much detail, but essentially we failed to print this on an FDM printer.
Really?
So we're attempting to do this on the resin to get the results that we need.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So again, it's choosing the right manufacturing techniques for what the outcome should be. Yeah.
Every technology is going to have its own use case and benefit. I just didn't know how usable this was going to be. I just thought it was going to be harder, and that's why I had misconceptions about resin printing. So what are we doing now? So we're basically letting it letting that
ISO evaporate. If we try to cure with that ISO on there, it will affect the surface finish.
Gotcha.
So we just need that purely cure, and it's just a matter of patience.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So isopropyl alcohol does evaporate pretty readily in air. Obviously, we just bathed this thing in a whole bath of it, so it's just trying to get it off nice and quick.
So that's gotten it pretty close, I think.
And if you're going to do this in a production environment and you're making a lot of these parts, most likely, just get a fan. You chuck them all down onto an open space and let them dry for 5 minutes with a fan on them, and you'll be good to go.
So that's pretty good now. I'm only going to cure one, but you can cure all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
So the cure, it has UV rays on the bottom, side, and top. It rotates, so you don't really have to consider the orientation when you're putting it in. So you just pop it in, press start.
Wait, what? Just press start.
Press start, and it'll go through its curing process, and then you'll have a finished product.
Did you have to select any material?
Yes, yeah. Like so I did select the Black V5 before.
Yeah.
And it's got the full range of the Formlabs in there.
Right.
Just select what you need, and it'll give you the presets that are required to finish your product to get it to those final properties that are what you're chasing out of that material.
See, this is what I love. Actually, there's like one thing that I really love about this ecosystem now, just understanding that all the settings are like dialed in for you. Yeah. So this is something that I never really understood with, like, even when you go and buy filament, well-branded filament, it's like, oh, you can print this between 190 and 230 degrees, a 40-degree difference, which is a massive difference. And you just never, you always have to optimize your settings, or it's just what it seems like to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, but was that done 1 minute already?
Done. Wow. There we go.
Wow. What surprises me is that we haven't done anything to select these settings. They're all just select the material, and the settings are optimized already. So, wow, that cured very quickly. 1 minute. So these parts, how long was that print? It was about 2.5 hour print or something?
Jeremy put that one on. So
yeah, I think it was around two and a bit hours. So you got a nice little touch screen here that you can like
2 hours, 15 minutes.
2 hours, 15. We printed 1, 2, 3, 4. We could have fit more.
We could have fit more, yeah.
For the same amount of time, we could have easily fit more. We could have washed, we could have definitely
cured all at the same time. Yeah.
They've washed all at the same time. So we're making these parts just crazy fast. And you can see why there's so many use cases, like say even like dentistry. It's like, okay, we're going to print like 10 of these custom molds at the same time, wash them all at the same time, cure them all at the same time, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, amazing. All right. Well, that is just awesome for me. We'll are we going to sign off? What else are we going to show? I mean, like, geez, like what else, what more do you want to know? I mean, like you can print it very quickly. Settings are all optimized for you. Print time only takes how high the part is. Yeah. You don't have to touch the resin. Oh, there we go.
That's the resin tanks. Just has a valve on the bottom there. Wow. You just literally just pop it in, open the air vent. That's it.
So you could have just effectively, that could have just been a new bottle that you put in. You just swapped it
out
very quickly, and then you just pull out the tank and then
actually
put it in the tank.
Something about the resin I also love is it's got an RFID chip, but it also senses how much resin you've got left. And if you try to send a print through and you're not going to have enough resin, it's going to alert you and stop you.
No way.
Which I wish Bamboo Labs would do with their AMS units.
Yeah, they only have a run out sensor, so you know when it runs out. But when it runs out overnight, then you end up having
you could have prepared for that before sending the print.
So this actually measures how much you have
how much is required, and will not let you send the print if there's not enough in there.
You basically can't get it wrong. I mean, you'd have to honestly really test it, push it to its limits, or just do something quite silly. We're going to lower that in there. Resin's reusable, isopropyl alcohol reusable, and then we cure it for a minute or whatever. So this can also heat up the curing chamber.
Yeah, so certain different materials do need an actual heat to fully cure. The more basic ones are just UV set.
Gotcha. Yeah. Incredible.
But yeah, that's the whole system. As they say, it only takes 15 minutes to learn how to use this. 15 minutes to go from a new user to an expert like me.
I feel like I'm an expert now, Pat. Yeah, look at this. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very well engineered, and they look good. They're good-looking equipment.
They are. They do look nice. I want one now. Is there a way to get our hands on it?
Formlabs runs competitions quite regularly. They've actually got one coming up where when they release their Tough series of resins, they were testing them by this design they had, which was a sphere, which they filled with water, had a little cap on, and dropped it from certain heights, and saw how well they could take that impact. So the competition, you'll have to look it up, but basically any material, any manufacturing technique that you have, make that design and have a creative, entertaining way of smashing that ball. And you can go into the draw to win this whole setup.
Oh, we should do it.
Definitely don't steal my idea. This is my idea. I've got a broken flash forge printer that I'm going to drop on the ball and see which one comes out better.
Oh yeah, that'll be Flash Forge. You'll love that. That'll be good. So yes, so definitely join that competition. What I'll do is in the recording of this webinar, I'll chuck some links in.
Yeah.
So I'll put a link for that comp. I'll put a link and I'll show some like high quality photos of the parts that we printed, like the dinosaur and stuff like that, and some comparisons. And if you want to, obviously, you know, if you're in Melbourne, come and have a look in the showroom, and we can show you some parts. Can we get do we do sample models or anything like that?
We'll have to talk to Jeremy, but I'm sure that's something we can work out.
If you're a business and you want to see it in action, I mean, like you know, like we're happy to like explore that and yeah, we
see what it's capable of.
Yeah, exactly. See it in action. Hopefully, this has given you some motivation. But yeah, if you want to see this in action, definitely give us a call. And wow, just blown away at how easy it was. I feel like an expert now.
Yeah,
I just want to get my hands on doing some more prints. Thanks for that, Pat.
No, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
And as always, if you guys have any questions, let us know. You can always post in the community, message any of the admins. You can contact any of us at 3D Printer Gear through the website. So I'll link all our Formlabs equipment and our resources. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.